Sometimes you have a server that needs to authenticate with a login. However, sometimes a user account is a little bit too open and not suited for a server. For example, we do not need access to the UI on the server, which is where a service account comes in to help you here. You can think of a service account as a bot authenticating with Kestra directly without using the UI. This is fantastic because it allows us to use things like an API token to authenticate with Kestra securely without needing to give full access as a user. To create a service account, head over to the IAM tab under Administration, and inside of here you'll be able to find service accounts. Now when you press create, you'll get the option to give it a name and add it to a group, and again give it any sort of permissions just like you would to a typical user account. Here I'm going to call it server. When I press save now, we'll get access to the access tab and the API tokens. So here is where I can give it a certain role, such as the developer role, which gives it all these different permissions that I can modify if I want with a custom role. I'm going to press save here, and now I can generate myself an API token. And so here I can just say that this is going to be for AWS server, for example, and I can say this is for AWS server access. And I can set the max age to be as small as a custom age, 1 hour, 24 hours, or no expiration. So I'm going to set it to that. I can also extend it to so that if I want to renew the token, I can do that too. I'm going to press generate now, and we can see that it's given me my API token that I can now use for my service account to authenticate with Kestra. Now it's worth noting you can use regular users to create API tokens. The difference here is if you're planning to use this entirely with a remote service such as a CI/CD platform, having a service account allows you to decouple it from the user, which means that any actions made by that user are tracked by the audit logs correctly, and you're not mixing it up with what's happening on the server automatically and what the user's doing. This also allows other users to be able to access the service account too without gaining access to that user's account, which then could have a security risk of someone else impersonating someone and starting to do things they shouldn't be, but the audit logs will not track the correct user. Now, if you are an admin of your Kestra server, which I am, you can also impersonate your service account too. This is useful for being able to check the permissions are working as you would expect before putting it into a production environment where it might have more permissions than expected and potentially cause problems. So here I can click the impersonate button, and now I can see what my service account can see. So here, the service account cannot see as much in the administration tab, but it should be able to go into any of the workflows and edit because we gave it a developer role. So here we can see I'm able to see these flows, I'm able to execute them as well without running into any issues. But if I wanted to go and invite new users, I wouldn't be able to do that, which shows that the permissions I've set are correct for my use case. However, in most examples, you're probably using a service account to pretty much just execute workflows and read them. You wouldn't want to give it write access. Hopefully you found that useful and you're going to start using service accounts inside of your Kestra instance. Let us know how you're using service accounts and if you're using them with API tokens as well.